At 40, Pepe was monumental. He was awesome at the back. He was a giant at the back. He blocked everything. He swept away everything. He really, if that was his last game for Portugal, what a game he had. Unfortunately, Cristiano, what again a poor game he had. If that was his last chance saloon, yes, we'll remember him for being Ronaldo. He put away his penalty in the shootout. Welcome to Senior's Last Word. I'm Aldrin Suga Senior, and I'm talking semi-finals. Remember, it is Spain, France, England, and Netherlands. I'll review the game between Portugal and France. Not many people were very happy when I intimated before the game, when in my analysis, when I said that Ronaldo Cristiano would be the reason why Portugal doesn't progress in this competition. But I think you saw what my argument was about. I always thought that the best of Ronaldo Cristiano would be the reason why, and has always been the reason why Portugal has been successful in his time. And when he's poor, you wonder where that difference would be. And that's what we saw in the game against France, because Portugal did possess that ball the way we know they can possess it. They've been the team with the highest possession statistics throughout the tournament. Even against France, they did dominate possession. They had that ball. But how many times did they find those spaces? Did they find the feet of Ronaldo? And Ronaldo just couldn't. Not because he's not good enough, I've always said. The legs, tired. The body, gone. So many times he couldn't react fast. On 3 occasions, he could have scored that long goal. He couldn't. He just couldn't. The body was saying something else. The mind, obviously, very willing. But he couldn't. Otherwise, as the game went on, the longer it went on, the more it became harder for France to keep in. Because after first half, which I thought France had dominated, in terms of utilization of that ball and controlling of midfield and occupying the final third, I think the French were better. The application of Camavinga and Tchouaméni in midfield, as opposed to the usual Rabiot, the idea was to try and find more balls, spreading and distributing, and also have a more pleasing game to the eye, because Camavinga is so good at passing and moving. Tchouaméni very good at that. So they went for those. And of course, alongside Griezmann, you thought their movement was better in this game against Portugal. You thought even in terms of the body language, suddenly France were better than they had been in the previous 4 games. Now you saw a French team that has quality enough to go and do it. But then again, whatever is happening to Mr. Mbappe, because even here, Mbappe just couldn't do it. He can't beat players. His positional play is poor, was poor. His runs are wayward. He's struggling. He struggled all through. So even when their play was better, even when they're holding up play better, in the final third, they were idealists. They were completely idealists. Didn't know what to do. And that has been France's problem throughout. So as game went on, Portugal opening them, but of course finding the rock in that French defense. One thing that came through in that quarter-final fixture, man, the physicality of France, especially in the second half when they made the substitutions. You look at that physical presence and it would intimidate anyone. But had it not been for the rock solid defending of Parmigiano and Conde, especially Conde on the right fullback, I don't know what would have happened, because they were solid. Hernandez, as expected, is very good going forward. He's part of the reason why the left side of France is so good. And we saw why they had opted not to begin with Rabiot this time. What we had in the end was a French team that this time was willing to go and move forward. Guess what? The game ended, no goals. France has not been able to score more than 2 goals in open play at this tournament. And that's bad. That's worrying. That's discouraging. So in the second half, you thought now they're playing for penalties. Portugal, second half, they rediscovered their mojo. They were all over the place. Bernardo Silva was in there. I thought they delayed to bring on Joao Felix because Joao Felix in that team, that is France, that solid backline that they had, there are moments when you needed players with silky feet so that they can be able to, take away players and create spaces. So they delayed, in my opinion, to bring on Joao Felix. The other areas of the pitch, I thought Pepe was really, really solid. At 40, Pepe was monumental. He was awesome at the back. He was a giant at the back. He blocked everything. He swept away everything. He really, if that was his last game for Portugal, what a game he had. Unfortunately, Cristiano, what again a poor game he had. If that was his last chance alone, yes, we will remember him for being Ronaldo. He put away his penalty in the shootout. But not the best game he's ever had in a Portuguese shirt. Not the best captaincy he's ever had in a Portuguese shirt. In the end, I thought for all the beautiful football that Portugal played when they had to play it, in extra time, they needed fresh legs, they needed energy, and they did open up that defense. They once or twice, they found the openings. But who did they fall to? Ronaldo. What could he do? Nothing. So I just think maybe they played him every game, which they should never have done. Even in that game, maybe he would have come on as a substitute at some point, especially as the game went on, but they needed him on the pitch. And because of that, because of the lack of character of that coach, I think it's a lack of character. I think he didn't make the right decisions in terms of making the right changes when he had to. In the end, Portugal and France, very tight, very, very competitive. But the French, when it got to the penalties, the mental fortitude of the French players, I looked at each one of them as they took those those penalties. They believed they are putting them away. They were so sure, very calm. And Portugal, having got to this stage through penalties, unfortunately, their keeper this time couldn't save them. Diogo Costa. He was their best player in the round of 16 against the French. He had no answer. And that's the reason why Portugal are out. Did France deserve to go through? Yes, because after 120 minutes, they did what they had to do where they had equal platform, and that was the penalties, and they had all the answers. So what we got is France dismissing Portugal for the second time. The last time they had done that was, remember, 2000 in the quarterfinals. They did it again in the quarterfinals. So France have something over Portugal. In the end, France are in the semifinals. Portugal out. Sorry, Ronaldo, but you had a good time. We enjoyed you while you are still here. For now, football has to continue. The championships have to continue. It's France in the semifinals. And that's my last word.